presented by H.O.F.
I'm in PE class in this big old 180-pound senior Letterman jacket on, like Emilio Estevez in Breakfast Club, and he's, I'm this 115-pound kid, and he comes walking up to me and he's like, "Hey, you're coming to practice today." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, sir. Yeah, of course I am. I'm not gonna say no to him." And then the next day I went to practice, and it smelled a little weird. And it was kind of awkward, and I'm getting squeezed, and I'm like, yeah, I played sports, but this is definitely different. And but I just kind of liked it. It was for the first time ever. It was being a smaller kid. It gave me a chance. I was good at sports, but I was always too small for everything else, or too short, or I was like, wait a minute, there's weight classes here, and I get to wrestle people my size, and if I practice really hard, I get to play. I don't get benched. I can kind of determine my own playing time. I survived that first 2 or 3 weeks. I kind of fell in love with it. And that senior, ironically, ended up being Cole Kaminsky, who is now my brother's principal, my principal's brother. So I still see him all the time from, at school. Yeah, it becomes your life's work. I've been a Palm Bay wrestler, or a Palm Bay coach, or a Palm Bay assistant. I lived in Palm Bay. I'm from Palm Bay, Melbourne, Palm Bay, my whole life. I'm a Palm Bay kid. I coach Palm Bay kids. I understand, where they come from a little bit, and so it's next thing you know, you realize it's kind of your business. It's your life's work. It's what you do, and it just becomes natural. And so you do that for 28 years from the time that you're a sophomore in high school, and I was the wrestler, and then I was an assistant or the apprentice, and then all of a sudden I was named head coach. And then, like you said, 25 years later, you're like, wow, I'm not going anywhere either still, I still got work to do here. And like, oh my goodness, I've been there 28 years. Well, the phone call was awesome. You've been through so many battles in wrestling. You don't get too high or too low after a while. And, but to get a phone call and you might even think it's like a spam call because you're not sure who's going to call you all the time. And, I think I was at school. I had to, hey, can you got a minute? I'm like, sure, I'm in class, but I got, the National Wrestling Hall of Fame calls you, you're going to have to put your lesson plan on hold for a second. So they told me, and I was smiling for sure, and you see all the other guys do it, and you grow up seeing it the whole time, and you're like, it doesn't even you don't realize, wow, I'm a part of that now. It hasn't really sunk in too much, I guess, when you're going to graduation, until you walk across the stage and get your diploma. I'm sure that's when it'll probably all hit me pretty good.
For those of you who know me pretty well, you know that even though I can excessively brag about my kids and promote my program's accolades, I'm not very comfortable when the spotlight is solely on me. So it took an induction into a National Wrestling Hall of Fame to give me no choice. I'll enjoy it. Being inducted into the National Wrestling Hall of Fame is the highest honor and aspiration a coach can realize. When I reflect on the Hall of Fame, I revere legends like Mamacita, Bird, Goog, who I hope would dye his hair blue and green from now on, Ray Jesse, and Chris Hayward, and just recently, Daniel Walker. I remember them making the walk and wearing the green jackets. After 25 years of checking weights, mopping mats, giving kids rides home, and occasionally showing a wrestling move, I am in company with Florida's best. I get to be a part of the most reputable and respected wrestling fraternity there is. I am an honorable member of the class of 2023, the National Wrestling Hall of Fame, Florida chapter. I've learned to appreciate what wrestling and my program have meant to me on a personal level. When I first got into the game, it was about proving myself, mainly winning. But as time has passed, 25 teams later, I realized that the relationships I've forged with the kids, their parents, and the other coaches mean way more to me than a trophy. Wrestling is such a personal sport. We spend so much time with each other, We've all seen each other at our best and worst moments, but we were always there for each other. A coaching character trait that I hope I embody after my hero, Grandpa Gene. I am so grateful to have so many lifelong friends from people I have met during my career. Best man Tyler Popple, work wife Coach Morano, our get-off bottle specialist Brad Stewart, and the Stewart family, the Pepitones, the boss John Thomas, the Hills, the Thylakers, the Everetts, my bodyguard Bob Sr., Todd and Mama D, CW, athletic directors Dino Colonna and Brian Crowley, and the Godfather himself, James Raymer. And anyone, he's sitting 20 feet away, and anyone who endured the epic golf tournament of 2010 and our championship COVID run 2021, and so many more. I want to thank everybody from the bottom of my heart as I received the Lifetime of Service Wrestling Award, but really, it's wrestling that has served me. Thank you.